Hello, welcome to Yarn Lane. Completely different channel, completely. It's me in the same building, but if you must order on the Yarn Lane website. You can't order on Sewing Street. You must order on the Yarn Lane website, but you still get, if you paid your P&P earlier, you will still get. You've paid it once on Sewing Street, you'll still get it through this. Right, for the first time ever, we've got an early bird. I'll put it down there. We've got an early bird on Yarn Lane. They've not had it before. You see, I was trying to warn you earlier. This is lovely. This is so lovely. Hang on, Paul. Do you want me to make a space for you? There you go. There it is. It's an early lunch. Early lunch, I'm going to call it. Early bird special knitting design mug. £9.99. Oh, I love it. Look, it's a... Right, I'm going to lift it up, Paul. Good size cup of tea in that, wouldn't you? Frothy coffee in that. Acting, that's cool. I love it. Do you want to have a good look at it? Have a good look at the... Oh, you want to go back? Well, except you can't see the bottom of it at the table. Look. How do you buy through Yarn Lane? You go to the website and you go down... Oh, well, I'll show you. Sorry, do you want to show it? www.yarnlane.com. Watch live. It's the same design as Sewing Street. Look, watch live. Scroll down the page. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, we'll tell you in a minute. Or of course, it's a different phone number. Different phone number as well. I've got to look because I haven't learnt it yet. 0800 47. No, hang on. 4700 600. 0800 4700 600. Okay, the only way you can buy at the moment is by ringing up. You can't buy on the website. You can only buy if you ring up. I won't tell you the word that Hannah used. Anyway, look, isn't that cute? I think that's beautiful. Here we go. £9.99. It's lovely. Now, it is dishwasher safe. It is dishwasher tested. It's dishwasher tested. I haven't got a dishwasher, so I'd have to... Does it say you can do it in a sink? I've got one. It's brand new. I just don't like using it, that's all. 0800 4700 600. Oh, I see. 0800 4700 600. You have to work out catchy ways to learn it, don't you, and everything. 0800 4700 600. Okay, ring the call centre to buy. It's the early bird special. It's gorgeous. Nice. Right, okay. That's it. That's all I'm doing with the early bird for now because I want to get on with the show. Want to get going. Right, you've seen the adverts all day. Sam Sabido is here. Hello. She's gorgeous. Right, now, first of all, before we do anything like this, who are you?
Well, I'm Sam. I'm from Adventures in Crafting, and I mainly teach crochet.
Right.
So all sorts of crafts, but crochet is my specialism.
Okay then. And so what's the company called, sorry?
Adventures in Crafting.
Adventures in Crafting. And is it mainly crochet?
It's mainly crochet. I do the odd other bit, like rag wreaths and things like that.
Do what?
Rag wreaths.
Okay, I'm new to all of this. So you've got a lot of teaching to do today.
Okay.
So that's fantastic. Welcome to the family. It's
Thank
my first
you.
day as well, so we'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show all the kits, and then we will go through each one individually. So the first kit is this cute little number here, which is Christmas tree bunting. Right? Now, you get everything in here that you need, bar the hook. So you obviously get some green wool. Now, this is where I fall down on... Is it all wool?
It's all acrylic, actually, but yeah.
Acrylic wool, yarn. So you get silver glitter. You get... That's a lovely coloured hot chocolate one there. That's just you. That's your business card. And then this here... Oh, there's a lot of instructions. The pattern instructions here. Okay, so there's no crochet hook in here. Is that for any particular reason? Do people have their own
Because I think people tend to choose their own hooks. They tend to have a favourite and maybe a set. And also you can vary your hook according to your tension. So
okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second. So
here
is you can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Christmas trees.
Well, and actually up to 7.
Oh, 7.
So
7 Christmas trees. So you got the instructions, the yarn. Do we call it yarn?
Yes, yeah, I call it yarn.
Yarn, call it yarn. And the only thing you'd need on top of that is a crochet hook, your very own crochet hook. So that's the first kit. Have we seen a picture of the finished thing? Can you lift it up? Could you lift it up for me?
So it's
There you go, perfect. And we'll just do a close-up of that. There you go. No, that's gorgeous. Right, okay. So that's your first kit. Now, the only way you can buy it at the moment is to call. The only way you can buy it at the moment is by calling. You can't buy it on the website. 0800 4700 600. It's just down the road. It's just down the road. So that's the first kit. That's the first kit. The second kit. Hey, the web's working. The web's working. Sorry, you've got... What a baptism of fire. It's actually day 3 of Yarn Lane, but it's only my first day. It's my first day. Right. So the next one must be a Christmas pudding. Is that this one? That's this one. Oh, that's stuffing. That's your stuffing. Right, hang on. What else do you get in here? Oh, this is chunky. Oh, that's nice. Chunky yarn in the... What colour would you call it?
Latte. Light
Latte.
brown.
Latte. No, latte. Peacock?
Yes.
I'm just calling it...
Sea green, I think that's called.
sea green.
Cream.
Cream.
That's your icing.
Oh, hang on.
You've got some eyes in there. You've got some little 10mm safety eyes.
Fantastic. So you
And
get
your
the eyes
pom-poms
as
for the
well.
top.
Yep.
It's got little pom-poms.
Okay. And the pom-poms in
For the
there
berries,
as well.
they're in there as
pom-poms
well.
in there. And then again, all the instructions here on the overhead. So you've got everything you need apart
Except
from
for
the
the
crochet
hook,
hook.
yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask a stupid question. It might not be a stupid, no question stupid, John. The the crochet of the Christmas trees is much finer.
That's right.
Than the knit on, do you
Yeah.
call it knit or the crochet?
The size, the size of the arm.
So does that
the weight of the
mean
arm.
You have a
So
different...
you would use a different hook.
Well, I'll talk to you more about that
yeah.
later. I'll talk about. So you have your own. You have to use your own hook, but all the yarn and everything, and the stuffing, and the eyes, and the pom-poms are all in that kit there. And does it come in this little calico bag as well?
Yes, yeah, it comes in that bag. You've got a project bag there.
Oh, that's nice. Yarnlane.com is where you go to buy, or you can ring the call centre, right? Then last but not least is this gorgeous wreath. Have a look. Can you see that, Paul, on the table over there? It's on the stand, Paul, there. Oh, hang on, it's coming into shot. There you go. That is gorgeous. Now, is that all crocheted?
That's all crocheted, yes, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Right, okay. Oh! Okay.
You get the wreath.
Yeah. I was about to say, where'd you get those wreaths from? Inside your bundle is your wreath. The smallest little ball of yarn I've ever seen in my whole life.
Cute.
Is this special then?
So that's cotton, yeah.
Oh,
they
right.
come in little balls. That's the Amigurumi brand.
And that's for the little leaves?
That's for making the different parts.
Oh, they're all adorable. Look. Is Rikurumi? Is that a make?
Rikurumi, yeah. So Rico's the make, and they've got those special little balls for when you're doing smaller makes.
Oh, I love this. Hang on, what else is in here? Oh, I'm loving this. Look, so you get all the colours that you need.
Yeah, everything
Hang
you
on,
need to make all of this. And that's another bit of stuffing for your
the
robin. Yeah.
For the robin, right. Hang on, there's more in here. What's in this little envelope then?
Little eyes for your robin.
Oh.
And then you get a stitch marker as well to help you when you're making him.
Oh, hang on, I've missed a... You get a what?
A stitch marker.
Where's that? What's that look like?
That's in there as well.
That's in there?
Yeah, that's in there as well.
I suspected... Okay, you'll have to explain.
I'll show you those later.
You'll show me all that. I'm sorry, I'm new to all this. But then these instructions seem very, very thorough.
Lots of photographs, yeah, sort of talks you through, very detailed.
What's that bit there? Is there a hat? Somebody wearing a hat?
That's the top of the robin. That's his little head.
Oh. Oh my word, look at all of the different instructions there.
So yeah, so you've got the patterns in that kit to make the holly, the hellebore flower and leaf, and the robin, and these little snowflakes.
Oh, so once you've made, if you've made that for the door, if you wanted other decorations in the house, you could just use those patterns.
Yeah, you could use them to
create
make
anything else.
things to hang on the tree, little garlands.
Blimey,
Yeah.
that. Now, I saw somebody wrote on Facebook the other day, are we going to do some left-handed crochet?
Oh yes.
Is it different? Is it very different?
It's just like a mirror image. So everything, I'm right-handed. So when I'm demonstrating right-handed, for people that are left-handed, they would just do it all in reverse, as if they're looking in a mirror.
But the pattern's still the same.
The pattern is exactly the same. They can follow the pattern the same. I'll talk a little bit today about how it differs a bit when you're left-handed.
Perfect.
But yeah.
Right. I'll take you through everything else in a minute, because on the website there will be a glue gun, a crochet hook, but we'll talk about crochet hooks in a second, and little scissors. They're all available on the website, because I want to get on with the... Oh, no, I'm going to show you this. Coming in the future. Coming in the future. Oh, I love this. I'll put it on the table. It's better to shuffle the table like that. What's this one?
So I called that my Happiness Wreath. So that was one we did in the spring when we first went into lockdown.
I love daffodils.
Yeah, so all the spring flowers.
Oh, that's adorable. So you're coming back to do that.
There will be a spring wreath, yes.
There will be a spring wreath.
Similar to that. And that's an autumn one I did.
Where's summer? Where's high summer?
It's not in there at the moment, but there will be one.
Oh, that's adorable, isn't it? Yes. Gorgeous. Right, okay, they're to come in the future. So let's get back to today. So let's do the bunting, first of all. Now, is this good for somebody who's never done crochet before?
It is. It's a good starting point. I'm going to talk you through how to get started. So with those bits of video, if they come back to the video, then it'll be a good thing for someone who's new to crochet.
Okay.
But also for someone who can crochet and just wants a fun project.
Okay, right. So push your wreath and your Christmas pudding to one side. So you've got a nice working space there.
Okay.
And we'll just... So are you just starting with... If we've never done in before, how we start?
Yes, I'll start with brand new. If you've never crocheted before, this is how you get started.
Okay, how do you choose your first crochet hook? Because there's sizes, aren't there?
Yes, they're different sizes. So the size is appropriate to the yarn size. So for the Christmas tree, we're working with Aran weight yarn. And so you would normally use a 5mm crochet hook for that. But I have put in the pattern to use a 4mm hook.
Oh, just confuse us on the first day.
Exactly, to make it a little bit tighter. So that's why one of the reasons I haven't put a hook in the kit is that actually you might be better off with a set of hooks to start with, so you can play about with sizes. So to make this a bit tighter, I've used a smaller hook in the pattern. I'm actually going to demonstrate with a 5.
So do most of your patterns, will it say on the thing, I have used a 5, or you might like to use a 4 or something
Exactly,
like that?
It will always say which hook size to use, and if you want to vary that, it will explain why.
If you go to the website, there's different sizes on the website there, so I'll let you explain, and you can then go to the website and choose the ones you need.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a 5mm hook, because that's what you would normally use for Aran weight yarn. As I say, for those, when you come to do the Christmas trees, you might want to try it with a 4mm hook, so that it's a bit tighter. And also, just to make a note that I've used a different colour yarn to demonstrate with, because the darker green, although it's lovely and Christmassy, it can be a bit harder to see the stitches. So that's the reason I'm demonstrating with this colour. That's not what you get in the kit. Okay, so for those that are brand new to crochet, first thing you're going to need to do is pick up your hook, which sounds very strange, but there's 2 main ways to hold your hook. So you've got the knife hold, where your hand is on top of the hook, or the pencil hold where it's underneath. Either thing is fine, it'll be what feels most comfortable to you. So I tend to use the knife hold, so you'll see me using that.
Right.
Okay, and you'll hold the hook in your dominant hand, and the yarn will be wrapped around your other hand. So as I said, I'm right-handed. Obviously, if you're left-handed, your hook will be in your left hand. And the first thing you need to do is make a slip knot.
Right.
So if you know how to make a slip knot, do it your own way, because you'll know how to do it and you'll be able to do it without thinking. But if not, this is how I do it. So you're going to put the end of the yarn, I call this the tail end, in the palm of your hand, and then bring the ball end, the bit that's attached to your ball here, over in a loop like that. So the important thing is that you've got your yarn end, your tail here, underneath, and the ball end looped over the top. Put your thumb on it, on the bit where it's crossed, and you can either use your hook or your fingers to reach through this loop here, grab that ball end and put it back through, and then you want to just hold the ends like that and pull it so it tightens up. So you can see at the moment it's really loose, so I'm just going to pull it to tighten up a bit.
Could you do it again?
Yes.
Only because people will have been watching the first
Of
time and now
course,
they'll
I really,
go,
yes,
what
absolutely.
did she do
Do
exactly?
that again.
So I'm talking to you as a complete, because I know none of this, so I'm going to be asking you questions like a complete beginner.
Please do.
And that was brilliant, but I was kind of, oh, how did that happen?
And if you are practicing at home, keep practicing. Rewind it and watch it again, do it again, because this is one of the things you need to get the hang of. So you've got the end of the yarn in the palm of your hand. Bring the other end that's attached to the ball here around in a loop and cross it over like so. Then put your thumb on the bit where it's crossed, and either put your finger or your hook through that loop there, grab the end that's over the back of your hand here, pull it through, so you've got a loop now on your hook, or you might have grabbed it with your fingers, and then just pull this tail and this ball end here so they tighten up. So the important thing is you've got a loop. It's a big loop at the moment, but it needs to be able to slide. So if you can do it yourself, you might have a different way of doing it. Make sure it's one that slides.
And just to remind you at home, someone's just messaged him saying, why are we using a different colour? It's the same thickness of wool, it's just a different colour because the dark green you won't be able to see at home with the stitches and things like that. So it's an aesthetic thing. It's not that you might get that colour. You will definitely get the really rich dark green wool when you get home.
Yeah, it's really hard to see the stitches in the darker colours.
It's like when
you're
demonstrating. Dressmaking in navy, and everyone at home, all they can see is just a...
Yeah, and conscious of the fact there's people that won't have crocheted before, so just trying to make it as clear as possible. So yeah, it's this.
So that we've done a slip knot.
Done the slip knot. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is get yourself into a starting position. So you're going to grab this tail, hold it up with your hook hand, so right or left-handed, whichever hand is holding the hook, just grab onto the tail, and then bring the other end of the yarn that's attached to the ball over your other hand. Now keep them close together. You don't want a massive gap between the two.
Right.
You need them close together. And bring the yarn here, the ball end of the yarn, over your little finger and under, so it's wrapped all the way around your little finger. And then I drape it up over my next finger. And then you're going to turn your hand. So if you look at the moment, my thumb's pointing upwards. I'm going to turn it, so my thumb's now pointing down. And I like to just push back on this piece of yarn here with either middle finger or first finger.
Right.
So that'll be what feels most comfortable to you. I use my middle finger. So I'm doing that to create a bit of tension there in this piece of yarn. That's going to be your working yarn. And then you drop the tail and you hold that with your thumb and your other finger. So this is my starting position. There's so many different ways of doing it. So if you're already crocheting, you've got a different way of doing it, that's absolutely fine, but this is just to get you started.
Yes.
Then you're going to put your hook across the top of this working yarn and underneath, do a half twist and use your hook to pull that through the loop on your hook there. And you've made one chain, that's called one chain, a foundation chain.
Right.
And then you're going to repeat that, so your hook goes under again. So you want to pass your hook across the top and underneath, half a twist, pull it through. If you're finding it tricky, the most likely thing is that you're holding it all too tight.
Right.
So the most common thing, if you're finding it tricky, is that this loop is too tight on your hook.
Okay, is it a bit like, this could be wrong now, when I was at school, we did this thing where we used to wrap two bits around and then pull one over and then put another one over. Are we doing the same sort of thing?
It's the same basic principle, isn't it? Yeah, exactly that. So you can move your thumb and finger up so that you're holding it close to the hook. That'll give you control. And you just want to continue making chains. So you're continuing to put your hook across the yarn and under it. They call it yarn over hook. Pull it through the loop. If you're finding it tricky, pull this loop up so you've got more space on your hook. That's the key thing. It needs to be quite loose. And people that knit, they want to pull it all tighter so that can go against the grain
so
a
when
bit.
you knit, is it different? Yeah.
I think it tends to be a bit tighter. Right. So the key thing is you want to keep it loose.
So you're just making a long...
I'm just making a long chain at the moment, and that's a foundation chain. That's the basis of most crochet patterns. So if you're brand new to crochet and you've done this and starting to get the hang of it, just continue making a long chain.
Okay.
That's the best way to get into the habit of how to hold the yarn, how to make the chain. So when you've got the hang of that and it's all feeling a bit more comfortable, because at first it feels a bit strange, then you're ready to start the pattern. So that's
you haven't started the pattern yet?
Started the pattern yet? I'll get on with that now.
No, absolutely no rush. I think it's fascinating. Jacqueline has asked, you're not going to answer this one, Jacqueline has asked, can she watch these shows later on? Are they on YouTube? They're on the Yarn Lane, YouTube, and you'll be able to watch. And YouTube's brilliant because you can stop it, start it, fast forward it, and all that sort of thing. So yes, the yarn. Yes, brilliant. Go on.
Okay, so that's my recommendation. If you're brand new to crochet, just sit and make one of these long chains until it feels comfortable. So rewind it, watch how I started off, and then keep going until you feel comfortable with it. Right. Then you can start your bunting.
Oh, so you're just going to unpick that?
I'm going to take it back. So I've just got the slip knot on the hook.
Oh, right.
Okay?
So we can start, yeah.
So back into position.
Yeah.
Okay, so to make your bit of bunting, you're going to do a chain of 3. So those little chains we were making, we're going to count them. So you're going to grab it and come through 1, 2.
Do you call them stitches?
3.
Are they called stitches?
At this stage, they're called chains.
Okay.
But when we move on to making rows, we'll move on to looking at stitches.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's your 3.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 little V's there. I talk about V's a lot in crochet. Maybe if I lie it down, you might be able to see. So you've got 1,
oh, yes,
2,
I can see. Yeah,
3.
yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to make 1 half treble in the 3rd chain from the hook. So you'd never count this loop on your hook. That's just waiting there.
I thought crochet was going to be easy. Right, okay, so hang on, we've done 3 chains.
We've done 3 chains.
Yeah.
And now we're going to make a stitch called a half treble.
Half treble.
I'll just make a point actually that I'm working UK terms. So if you look at patterns and they are American, they have different terminology to us.
No.
So that's just.
Oh, but we're making yours. So
we're making mine. So we're UK. Okay.
We're making a triple what?
We're making a half treble. Half treble stitch. Okay. So you're going to loop the yarn over your hook first for your half treble, and then you're going into this very first chain you made, so the one that's next to the knot, and push your hook underneath the top loop of it, like so. And then grab that working yarn. So that's where it's helpful if you've got your finger pushing it back, you can see it's ready to work with. Grab that with your hook and pull it all the way through that loop and then up in the air. And that gives you 3 loops on your hook. And then for the half treble, you're grabbing the yarn again and you're coming through all 3 of those loops. Okay, and you can see, I don't know if you can see there, you've made a little stitch here. And that is the top of your half treble stitch. So you've got your tail hanging down here. If I just show you, here's one I made earlier.
Oh, yes, brilliant. So,
you can sort of see in context, we've done this bit so far. And what we're going to do now, I'm just going to show you, it's really helpful when you're beginning, this is for people that are brand new, to use stitch markers that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, and these are what's now?
There isn't one in the Christmas tree kit, there is in the other ones.
But we also sell them on the website as well.
Yes, and if you are brand new to crochet, they're so helpful.
Okay.
Really help. So I'm going to use this to mark the first stitch. And so you've got these 2 loops here, this V, again, V's in crochet. Put your little stitch marker.
Okay, we just need you to push it forward.
Okie doke. All right, okay, so then the next row, chain 2 in the air, that's your turning chain with a half treble.
Right.
Turn it around, and where you've marked it with your stitch marker, you pull up your stitch marker, you can see you need to make 2 half trebles in there. So yarn over, into the V, pull back through, yarn over through all 3, so that's 1 made, yarn over, in again, pull back through. You've made 2 half trebles. So you're starting to build up that little triangle shape.
You see, my nan used to sit and crochet while she was chattering away, while she was watching the telly. And I used to think, oh, God, that must be so easy to do. I'm like, what?
I know.
I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things that once you've mastered it, you then can do it without even looking.
Absolutely, you can.
Me,
you can do it in front of the telly, but it's just practice.
Yeah.
It really is practice. So I'm starting to build up the triangle. I've made 2 stitches now, so can you see these V's here? There's 1, 2.
Yeah.
So for the next row...
You're not putting a marker in?
I'm not, but I would recommend that you do if you're a beginner.
Is that what this picture
There's
is
a
here?
picture of markers
It's not
there.
that I know, I can just tell you, there's on the pattern.
I can do.
It's very thorough, showing you where the markers go through and everything.
So that's aimed at people that are brand new to crochet. So if you're new and you're not sure where you're working, as you make these stitches, mark them with a stitch marker. So then you do a chain 2 in the air, so you're grabbing the yarn, pulling it through twice, and that's your turning chain. That's called a turning chain in crochet.
You've done that in between each one, haven't you?
Yes,
Those
at
two,
the end of every row you do that.
And that's just 2 chains?
Just 2 chains, and that gives you a bit of height to be able to turn it. And we don't count that as a stitch or anything, it just gives you that bit of height.
Yeah.
And you always want to turn it so that your tail is hanging down like that, just to orientate yourself. And then you continue, you're going to do 1 half treble in the first stitch. So, sorry, I'll slow down a bit. So yarn over first, into that V, making sure you're going under 2 strands of the V, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over through all 3. So for this row, the 3rd row, 1 in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd. So you might need to watch me doing the half treble demonstration again just to see how to do those. And that's the 3rd row done. So we've now got 3 stitches. So for every row, you add a stitch. So for the next row, you're going to chain 2, and you do turn over.
Yeah, got it.
1 half treble in the 1st.
Yeah.
1 half treble in the 2nd, 2 in the final.
And then the last 2 you put together. So you do 1 through the 1st, 1 through the 2nd, and then the 2 that left over, you put those through together.
So you're going to do 2 in the final one.
Yes,
1 in the first, each of the first 2,
yeah.
and increase 2 in the final one. And that's how you add 1 every row. And so that's what you continue doing. Can you see it starting to make a triangular shape? So every row you're adding 1 stitch.
So it's almost like, I don't want to put it with knitting, but it's almost like you're casting on each time.
Again,
so it gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly. And you keep building that up until you've got your triangular shape for your... Actually, it's an upside down Christmas tree at the moment, but it will build up like that. Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to do another row?
Yes, please.
So chain 2, and then you're going to do 1 half treble into all of the stitches until you get to the very last stitch where you do 2 half trebles.
Yes.
So yarn over into the first one, pull some yarn back through, gives you 3 loops, yarn over through all 3. So that's 1 in that one.
Yeah.
1 in the next. 1 in the following, and then you get to the final stitch, which is here.
Yeah.
And you're putting 2 in there. So that's your increase.
Okay.
1,
yeah.
2. So this row we've got 5. So each row you're building up with your increase in stitches. So there's
Producer Hannah saying hers would not look like a tree. Okay, so that's fine. So you just keep going.
Until you've got this shape.
Right.
And that's got 15 stitches along there. And then actually, of course, it's this way round for the bunting.
That's what I was about to say to you. Has crochet got a right side and a wrong side?
When you're going back and forth, when we do work in rows like we were just then, it doesn't have.
Right.
So sometimes you work in the round, like we're going to do for the Christmas pudding, and then it does have a right and a wrong side.
Right,
but because we're turning it each time, there isn't an obvious right or wrong side. So you can
also bunting hangs up anyway, you're going to see both sides of it anyway.
Exactly,
aren't you? So,
yeah. So once you've done that, then you need to add your trunk.
Oh, yes.
So he's got a little trunk. I've got one here, actually. So you're going to add the trunk now. And you do that with the brown.
Yeah.
And you will need to join your yarn. So you join it in the 7th stitch. So if you're right-handed, you'll count along from the far
push
right
it forward
corner.
just a tiny bit forward. That's it. Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you. No, please don't apologise. Please don't apologise.
If you're left-handed, you'll go from the other corner.
Yeah,
so we're going to count along and find the 7th stitch. So again, back to V's. You need to count your V's.
Yeah.
So 1, can you see that?
Yeah,
yes.
perfect.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you just put your hook underneath those 2 strands of the V.
Right.
And you're going to join your brown in. So put a loop of the brown over the hook.
Yeah.
Pull that through. And just make that tail there, just pull that to get it out of the way. Do 1 chain, and that secures it. So that's how I join a colour.
Right.
There's loads of different ways of doing things in crochet, so other people will have different ways, but that's how I do it. And then you're going to chain 1, and then in the same stitch, we want to make a double crochet.
Oh, another new one then.
Stitch.
Right.
So for a double crochet, you don't put yarn over first.
Right.
You're just putting your hook back through that same place you joined, so it's really helpful because the brown's there.
Yeah.
Straight in, pull the yarn back through, gives you 2 loops on your hook.
Right.
Yarn over through the 2. So same sort of process.
Yeah, I've got that. I can understand that bit, yeah.
So we're going to do 3 of those.
I think it's easier in the brown.
So 1, 2, 3. So we've done 3 double crochets in a row. You can already see it looks like a little bit of a trunk.
Yeah.
And then you do a chain 1. So for a turning chain for a double crochet, it's just a 1 chain. Turn it over. And then
you're going to go back the other way.
Exactly, 3 double crochets.
So in crochet, do you always add on? You wouldn't make a trunk separately and sew it on?
You sometimes do.
Oh, okay,
you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. So, yeah, that would be another way of doing it. And then what I'm doing, sorry, I've got to the end there, I've done my 3 and I'm doing one more row like that.
Right.
So let's just go back to there, I got carried away.
Yeah.
So you
It's a
do...
bit wonky, your chunk, isn't it?
It'll be all right when I sew it in. So then you do 1 chain, turn it over, and then you're going to do 1 double crochet in each of these 3 stitches. So it's very simple. Okay.
Now, did we see how to cast? No, I don't think it's called casting off. We didn't see, when we did the tree, we didn't see how you finished.
Fasten off, yes. They tend to call it fastening off.
Fasten off, right, okay.
Again, there's so many different ways of doing this. This is how I do it.
Right.
So you're going to, when you've got your loop on your hook, you've worked your last stitch.
Yeah.
Pull your hook so that your loop on your hook extends. So you're aiming for about 12 centimetres.
Right. In total, so 6 centimetres up and 6 centimetres
no,
down?
12 centimetres, the 12 centimetres up, 12 down.
Oh, okay,
so
fine,
a loop
fine,
that's 12
yeah.
centimetres in height-ish.
Ish.
And then you snip it at the top here.
Oh.
And then you can just pull the end that's attached to the ball and out it comes. So you haven't tied any knots or anything.
Hang on. Where's the other bit go?
That's all you do.
Oh, hang on. So you went up
So let's
12
do it on this one.
centimetres. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
sorry.
So you pull your loop up.
Yeah.
And the reason you do that, this is the reason I do it like this. There's loads of ways of doing it, and some people will just snip down here, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the reason I do it like this is because then I know how long the tail will be that I've got to weave in at the end of my make.
Okay.
So about the length that you'd like your tail to be when you weave in your make.
Yeah.
So when you've got that loop like that,
Yeah.
just
cut
snip
it.
it.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 cut ends.
Right.
Hold on to the triangular bit.
Yeah, and then you're going to pull the big bit, ball
Pull
bit
the ball
out.
bit. Yeah, and watch it just slides out.
I missed, that's the bit I missed. You see,
Yeah,
suddenly there
it's
was
like
no
magic.
thread there. I was like, where's the other bit?
Yeah, it just slides out.
And that's knotted off.
And that's fastened off.
Fastened off.
So at this stage, if you've made a mistake, you can undo it, which is great. So sometimes you'll look back and think, oh, I've missed one there. So you can undo it if you want to, because there's no knots in it. So, and then the way you weave it in, just like with sewing or knitting, is you put this onto a needle and you just weave your needle in and out through the stitches and then back again and
like
fasten
a bodkin
it off.
needle.
Yes, a yarn, any kind of darning needle, any kind of big yarn needle, and then, so the reason I do it like that is because then you know the length of the tail that you've got to weave in, and then you're not wasting yarn, and you know you've got enough.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we've made the tree and we've made the trunk.
Yeah.
We've got the tinsel.
The tinsel to add next. So the tree and the trunk are made from 100% cotton. And so you can see the...
that's this, isn't it? The
that's
little ball
what's
of
in
brown
there,
in here,
except obviously it's the darker green.
Yeah.
And you can see the definition in the stitches there. So these ones I've made with a 5mm hook. So if you want it all tighter,
okay, while
go
you
for...
talk about size of hooks, can we just go to the website, www.yarnlane.com, right? Go to watch live. Oh, instead of going to watch live, go to, where was needles and hooks then? Oh, at the top, needles and hooks. Crochet hooks. Oh, no. So they're all different sizes. Right, the one, what? You're using a clover
I'm
one
using
today.
a clover one, yeah.
Right. What size was yours? Did you say 4?
So I would suggest a 4 for making the bunting.
I would buy, what's that there, that box there on the left-hand side. Stop, the 26.99. Is that lots of different sizes in there?
Yes, yeah.
Buy that one. Buy that one. Then you, oh no, there, look. So you've got all the different sizes. I'm not telling you how to spend your money, obviously, but it goes from 2 to 6mm. Is that going to cover most of...
That will cover most of your makes that you normally would make.
Until you get to the Christmas
exactly,
pudding. Yeah,
nothing
okay,
that's
I've got that one.
bigger, but...
So that's fine. That's where you go to get your hooks from. Right,
yeah.
Okay. And I'm just joking. Only buy what you want to buy. But me, I would buy the set of them. Then if the pattern suddenly went 4, I go, oh, I've got one of those. Right.
And also you can play about with your tension. So if you want it to look tighter, then you can go for a smaller hook size. It makes everything look neater and tighter.
Oh, okay. Right.
So,
but I want to make my pattern the same as yours. So I'm sticking
4mm
to 4 or 5.
hook.
Yeah,
4mm
okay,
hook.
perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So tinsel.
Tinsel. So you're going to join the tinsel in the bottom corner. So the same way as joining as I just showed you.
Yeah.
So you put your hook through, and you're going to go through the end of the row here. So instead of going into a stitch, we're working through the end of the row. If you want to weave your ends in first, you can. And then you're going to put a loop of the silver on instead. and then just make one chain which secures it. And just pull all those tails. If it gets loose, just pull the tails. You can tie a knot if it makes you feel more secure. That's absolutely fine. Chain 15. I have written
15.
15
because
you're going to
I
make
can
your
do this.
tinsel.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, this can, you know, I've put into the pattern, change it, will depend on your tension. If 15 doesn't stretch across, I haven't counted, so I'm going to guess with the stretch across. You want it to stretch across diagonally, about 5 rows up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So you can guess, that's absolutely fine.
Push it through. Oh, I can
Push
do
your
this.
hook
I can do the
through.
tinsel. Right, so you make the
And
trees, I'll do the
slip
tinsel.
stitch. Yeah, okay, good teamwork.
Yeah.
So you put your hook through, grab the yarn, put it through and through the loop on your hook.
See, that's obvious to me that that's how you do that one.
Yeah.
That chain and then pulling
It's a bit
it through and
instinctive,
knotting it
isn't
off
it?
at the edge.
Yeah. And then you do another chain that's a bit
Of course.
shorter, so you do a 10.
And then the string going across the top, I've just realised the time. The string going across the top is just all chain.
All chains.
And then how do you attach the tree to, you have to show us, but how do you attach the tree to the chain?
You make a double crochet, so you lay out all your trees. When you make your chain, as you get, it does say in there, as you get to the top of the tree that you want to join, push your hook through and make a double crochet in there.
And so it's just literally hanging from the
It's
the
literally
pinnacle
hanging
of the tree.
from, yeah, exactly.
Okay, there are only 7 of those kits left. So if you want that, please, I know we're busy watching, but please be aware that there's only 7 of those left. Okay, let's move on then to the Christmas pudding, because this looks completely flipping different now, because this looks like what I would call like an Aran knit almost.
So
Very old.
yeah. So Christmas pudding
Yes.
is made with a super chunky yarn.
Right, okay, which is all in here,
It's
isn't it?
all in there.
Yeah.
So you'll need a much bigger hook.
Right, what size hook have you got
A
there?
9mm.
Oh, okay, that would have been in my kit, because my kit only went up to a 6.
You would need to buy that additional, because it's unusual to use it. But it's really easy to work with super chunky, so it's a really nice one when you're getting started with crochet.
I think I'd prefer this one.
Yeah, it's a really, and also this kit is a really good introduction to amigurumi.
Pardon?
So amigurumi is a Japanese crochet technique.
Okay.
It's very fashionable. Anything 3-dimensional is made using this technique. So this kit teaches you all of the basics of that technique.
I think have I seen at the festival, that Christmas Quilts thing, like, I don't want to say the name of the company, but they make big giraffes and things like that. Do you know
Lots
what I mean?
of animals, yes.
Fine,
So,
okay, I know where we are now.
Anything 3-dimensional.
It's called what?
It's called amigurumi.
Amigurumi.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Right, off
so
you
this is a technique for it. So when you get this kit in your pattern, you've got everything you need to learn this technique. So you're going to start with a magic ring.
Right.
And you start that in the same way as you start a slip knot.
Right. So is this still crochet?
Still crochet,
okay, right.
it's just a particular technique. So we're still making the same stitches, still be doing the double crochet stitches. Okay, so for your magic ring, tail in the palm of your hand again.
Got that.
Bring this ball end, I'm going to have
Yeah.
to move it over here, sorry, around in a loop over the top. So again, it's really important.
Is it the same? Is that the same as we did
Almost the
before?
same as we did before. There's a slight difference. So it's really important your tail end here is underneath this ball end.
Yeah.
Thumb on the top, hook through from the front, grab the ball end and put it through and up in the air a bit.
Right.
Now, when we made a slip knot, we pulled it all tight.
yeah.
For a magic ring, you're not going to pull
Right.
it tight. This is your magic ring.
Right, okay.
So keep it as a loop.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Right.
you want to make one chain. So grab the yarn, pull it through to secure it.
Yeah.
So this is
Okay,
your
okay,
magic
okay.
ring,
Got
yeah?
that,
So
yeah.
this tangly bit is a bit that makes it magical. We're going to make all our stitches into here, working around this tangly bit. So where I'm right-handed,
Yeah.
this bit where it's tangled up is on the left.
Yeah.
If you were left-handed, it'd be on the other side.
Okay, fine.
Okay, and so we're going to make double crochets in here. So everything's going into this ring, working underneath these 2 strands.
Right.
So your hook goes straight into the ring, pulls that working yarn back through, gives you 2 loops on your hook,
Oh, okay.
yarn over through the 2. So the same double crochet stitch that I used for the trunk of the tree.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of them. We want to make 6.
So you never split the yarn, you take the whole yarn through?
Yes, you're going into this like big circle here,
Yeah.
pull it back through,
Yeah.
and so we're going to make 6 of those double crochets.
Right.
Okay, so you keep this big circle here, everything's going in there. Where I'm right-handed, the stitches are laying anti-clockwise around the circle.
Oh, I see. So
Okay.
you're almost like plaiting around
Yes.
the initial circle.
Exactly. So everything's laying around the circle.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, I put you off.
No, that's fine. 5, 6. If you're left-handed, you'll be working clockwise. You'll be working the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So that's my 6 stitches. So you've got these V's on the top here, which are your stitches.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to pull this tail. This is where the magic happens.
Oh, right, okay, I'm watching.
You pull the tail, hold on to the stitches so they don't twist, and it tightens up. So there's absolutely no hole in the middle.
Oh, right. Oh, I haven't got
You've got a little
Christmas pudding. I
circle.
thought you were going to keep going and keep going and keep going, and there was going to be a big hole in the bottom to stuff it with. But
No,
that's not the way
no,
you
that's
tighten
yes.
this up,
You
right.
tighten it up so there's no hole, and that's
So
why
that was six.
that
six
was 6.
stitches, right?
Okay, so back to the stitch marker, which you do get in this kit.
Yeah.
When you're doing amigurumi, it's really helpful to use a stitch marker
Right.
to mark your last stitch of the round.
You only get one, did you say?
You just get one. You can get packets of them.
Available on the website.
Yeah, but just one is enough for the amigurumi.
Yeah.
So in this stitch at the back here, whoopsie, where you've got the 2 V's,
Yeah.
there's 2 strands of yarn that make the V. Pop your stitch marker under those 2 strands. And that is marking the very last stitch of that first round.
Right, okay.
You can mark the first stitch, but I like to mark the last stitch. And the reason you do that is because you're not joining. In amigurumi, you work in a spiral.
Right.
So you're never joining the circle up.
Oh, okay.
So what you need to do now for round 2 is you're going to push your hook underneath that first stitch of the last round.
Right.
So if you can't find it, start with a stitch marker and count backwards. And
Yeah.
remember we did 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
And again, you've got the 2 strands that make the V, just like with the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But they're slanted a bit towards you. So they're here. So
Right.
it can be a bit of a fiddle. Now I'm using a 9mm hook because that's a bit smaller than you normally would for a super chunky. You'd normally use a 10mm.
Oh, okay,
But we want it
okay.
all to be tight, so it's a bit fiddly. Okay, so I've put my hook underneath those 2 strands.
Yeah.
Grab the yarn and pull it back through. Give me 2 loops on my hook.
Yeah.
And you're going to grab the yarn and come through those 2. So that's
Right.
1 double crochet made
Yeah.
in that first stitch.
Mm-hmm.
For amigurumi, for round 2, you need to make 2 in every stitch.
Right.
So we're increasing it. So you need to go back into that stitch there.
Uh-huh.
So hook goes back in that same hole that you've just been in.
Yeah.
Pull the yarn back through, yarn over through 2. Okay, so you've got 2 stitches sitting in that same hole.
Yeah.
And then you do that in every stitch around. Oops, sorry, split it a bit. That's it. 2 in the next.
You're getting lots and lots of love on the. I'm not. I'm too busy looking at YouTube, looking at the messages. People loving your demonstration because you're making it so clear.
Oh,
I'm
good.
lost, right? I'm lost. I admire all of you, but lots of the ladies and gentlemen on the Facebook saying how brilliant your demonstration
Oh, thank you,
is.
everyone. I'm really pleased you think so.
No, it is fantastic. It's fascinating because I really, in my brain, I just went, okay, should you just do this? I didn't realise there was so much
When
to
you
it.
watch someone doing it, when they're really
Yes, when they're
proficient
efficient.
at it.
Yes, exactly.
So
Right,
we're
carry
doing
on.
2 into every one around, and that's an increase into every stitch. That's called an increase. So when you follow an amigurumi pattern,
Yeah.
the pattern might be written differently, but you follow the same premise. So it might call an increase, it might say 2DC,
Yeah.
but you're putting 2 double crochets into every stitch on this second round.
Right.
So I've reached my stitch marker,
Uh-huh.
and that's my last stitch of my round.
Uh-huh.
So I need to make 2 more double crochets in that stitch the stitch marker's in.
Right.
So the good thing about marking that last stitch of the round is when you get there, aha, I'm on the last stitch,
Yep.
let's work in there. So these should be numbers 11 and 12.
Right.
So it's useful to count your stitches in amigurumi.
Yeah.
Okay, it's always a really nice moment when you count them all and you've got the right number.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so we're going to mark the 12th stitch here, so the very last one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you start the next round. So you can see it's starting to make a spiral
So
shape.
you're just going to carry on going round and round and round and round and round.
Yes.
But then you have to get smaller, 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 smaller when you get to the top.
Exactly. So do you want me to move on a bit?
Only because I want to get onto the wreath as well, and we've only literally got 10 minutes left.
Have
so,
we?
Yes,
Gosh,
I
that's
know.
gone quick.
I know,
Okay.
it flies by.
Right, so
Absolutely
so you follow the pattern of increases that's in the pattern.
Yeah.
And you end up with a circle like that. It's a bit
Yeah.
hexagonal shaped, and that's the nature of amigurumi.
Right.
Then you put 1 double crochet in every stitch around,
Yeah.
and that cups it up.
Right.
So I've got lots of demonstrations. So here it starts to form a basket shape.
Right.
Now that's because I've gone round for 5 rounds, putting 1 double crochet into every stitch. Okay, and then the very last thing you need to know about amigurumi is that you then need to do a decrease.
Yeah, carry on.
So the last thing
you need to do what, sorry?
A decrease.
Right.
So this is the bit where it comes back in to make a ball shape. So for a decrease, so once you get to this part, it's round 11 in the pattern, you're going to follow a pattern where you do a certain number of single double crochets, and then it will ask you to decrease, and that's called a DC2 together. So it's double crochet 2 together.
Right.
I'm just saying that in case you're reading along with the pattern and watching me.
Yeah.
So you're going to go into the first stitch, pull the yarn back through like we did before when we did a double crochet, and then into the next stitch. So straight in, when you've got those 2 loops on your hook, instead of finishing your double crochet, put your hook straight through the next stitch along, pull the yarn back through, and that gives you 3 loops on your hook. And then you grab your yarn and you come through all 3. So you've joined these 2 stitches here together to make just 1 stitch.
Got it.
And that's your decrease.
That's how you're decreasing it.
That's how you
you've
decrease.
Made those all into one
You've
stitch
pulled them
now.
together into one. And so that's all you need to do to
you
cup him up again.
First? Because that's a decrease. Then is it just normal all the way round?
So no, you do a pattern. So you might do it talks you through it in the pattern, but you might do 2 singles, so 1 double crochet in that one, 1 double crochet in that one, then a decrease, and then you might do the
Got it. So you do normal decrease, normal decrease, normal decrease. Otherwise it would all decrease on that
Otherwise you'd have a different shape. So when you want a ball shape like this, so here he is, it's ball shape, stuffed. And then you add your icing, which you make in exactly the same way.
Made the same way.
Exactly the same way.
But then that looks like it's scalloped. Almost.
It's got a little shell on the edge there. So that's just that very last round. You make a little shell, and you're using the stitches that we've talked about. You use a double crochet.
Okay, so it's all the things we don't need to learn anything new.
And you'll make a little shell shape there, and then you sew that on. Now you'll do a leaf, but if we get time, I can go through that on the Christmas wreath. So you do a little leaf, and then you get 2 pom-poms. Oh, I haven't put his eyes on, but you get eyes. Yeah. And then you've got 2 pom-poms.
Yeah, obviously we have to say, if you're going to give it to, not that you're likely to an under 3-year-old, but these eyes you do have to be careful to give. We say under 3.
Not recommended for under 3s, So you could sew them on. You could just embroider them on. So so that's it. Then you sew the bits together.
I'm not going to ask you to do it, but could you crochet a ball? Can you crochet a ball?
You can, or a tiny little circle.
Yes, and then stitch that on.
Exactly that. Okay, so there's lots of different ways of doing eyes if you don't want to put safety eyes on.
Sorry, I feel like I'm rushing you, but I kind of there's so much to do,
It's fine, there's so much to do.
Okay, and then you just sew on the holly berries.
Yeah, or if you've got a glue gun, you can stick them on.
Oh yes, you've got the glue guns available on the website.
And then, so you've got your eyes, you've got your icing and 2 little leaves, and then you've got your little Christmas pudding.
Can you crochet a hoop so you could hang it from something?
You could, you could do a hoop or
because it's not going to be heavy, is
no,
it?
It's not heavy at all at the moment, but you can put a bag of rice or sand or something in the bottom of it before you stuff it.
Right.
And then you've got a doorstop.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of hanging them.
But yes, you can hang them on, hang them or just use them to decorate the mantelpiece, whatever.
Oh yeah, lovely on the mantelpiece.
Yeah, very cute.
Okay, so we've got 8 minutes left.
Have we? Goodness.
We now need to go on to the pièce de résistance, which is the wreath, which I think is gorgeous.
Right.
There's the still of it. Look close up there, the robin. Right, so
the wreath has all these different components to it. So you've got the holly and the berries, you've got hellebore flower and the hellebore leaves, and you've got the robin and the snowflakes.
Yeah.
So the robin, he's made using the same sort of techniques I did for the Christmas pudding.
Right.
Exactly the same. It's amigurumi, obviously on a smaller scale.
Yes.
So you get double knit yarn with the kit.
And what size hook would you use him on?
I would recommend, well, for him, probably about a 4mm hook.
Okay.
So I've written into the kit you can vary your hook size when you're making these things and have a little play about. So I used a 3mm hook for most of mine.
Right.
But the smaller the hook size, the harder it's going to be.
I was going to say, does it get harder?
But it does get a lovely, neat finish. Yeah. So if you use a smaller hook, you get something that's really neat.
But maybe that's something to aim for.
Exactly.
Get your techniques right with the 4 or 5, and then you can always work down.
Yeah, and I've said in the pattern, you might want to have a go at a couple of holly leaves with a 5 or a 4 hook, just to get the hang of it, and then try smaller. I've got my pattern out, sorry, because I don't know it off by heart.
No, don't worry at all. You've got so many messages, but I just don't... could I make the Christmas pudding and put a chocolate orange in it? Well, you could if you wanted to.
I suppose you could make it so that you can take the icing off, have it like a lid. put lots of chocolates in it.
Anyway, right.
Okay, so for the holly,
Yes.
and let's not use that one. Let's use a different colour.
Oh, okay.
Same reason, it's harder to see.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I'm working with Aran weight yarn. You'll get double knit in the kits.
So this is the green.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would work in that green there, which is for the holly leaves.
Yes, yeah.
But this is just to demonstrate it to make it easier. So you do a chain of 10. So we're going right back to doing that slip knot.
I was going to say you do slip knot first.
Slip knot first.
Do you always do a slip knot to start with?
Yes, except for that magic ring where you don't quite finish it. But yes.
But when you're doing a chain.
When you do a foundation chain, always start with your slip knot. And then you're going to do a chain of 10. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going a bit quicker now, but obviously this is when you've had lots of practice.
And watch the chains from earlier,
okay. And then you're going to do 1 double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So you miss this first one that the yarn's coming out of.
Yeah.
Second one along, make a double crochet. So that's what we did when we did the Christmas tree trunks. And then you do a pattern of stitches. So in the pattern itself, I've put now work along the chain, making a sequence of stitches. Oh, it's upside down, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah. But so we're going to do this sequence here. So it will seem a bit overwhelming when you watch me demonstrate it, but you've got the pattern there to read it along. So you're going to do 1 half treble in the next one, 1 half treble in the following.
Which are stitches we've already done.
These are the stitches we did for the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And then when we come to the next one, we're doing a treble, which I haven't done with you yet today. So that's yarn over, into that loop, pull the yarn back through. So you get 3 loops on your hook, like with the half treble.
Yeah.
But for a treble, it's yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So it's a taller stitch.
Right.
And then you've got 2 more trebles to go. So the same again, through 2, through 2, and another one. And then it says 2 half trebles. So you're using the height of the stitch to shape it.
Yes.
So we've got those 3 stitches, the double crochet, the half treble and the treble. And the thing I wanted to show you is when you get to the end here and you've worked all the way along that row and made all those stitches, for the next part of the pattern, you turn your work over. So you rotate it. So instead of turning it over like we did before, you'll turn it upside down.
Right.
So now your hook's underneath your work and your tail's on the top here.
Right.
And this is the same strategy it's used for the leaves on the Christmas pudding as well.
So you still work along the bottom? Or
so now you're working on the bottom of it, so you will have ended up going in a whole circle.
Oh, right, got it.
So that's a technique that's used quite a lot in this wreath. So you need to find underneath the stitches you've just made. So you've got that little hole there. Hook goes, so it's underneath that double crochet I just made. Actually, I do a chain 2 in the pattern, it will tell you that. So chain 2 first. And then into that hole there, pull the yarn back through, make your double crochet. So the key thing to remember is you're working underneath those stitches you've just made into these holes here. So my next one will be a half treble. So yarn over, it's
You see, when you're doing a pattern for these, can you see in your head, oh, I need to do a half treble, a treble, a thing? Because my nan used to be able to go and say, oh, make something like this. And she'd go, oh, and then it would be in a shape. And you think, she's got no pattern or anything.
That's the fun bit. You're kind of picturing how the stitches are going to shape it. So you're working along here and following the same sequence. You'll see it's like a mirror image. It's symmetrical. So I've done my 2 half trebles, and now you do 1 half treble into each of the next 3, and you see.
I see. So you're doing the other side of the vein of the
leaf.
Exactly
that. Yeah, that's it. Exactly that.
So you've built one going down that side, and then you kind of go around the corner, and then you're coming back up the other side to create the other half of the leaf.
That's exactly. And that's a technique used for lots of these things. And then you finish with a chain 2. And then you're going to turn it again and slip stitch in that very first stitch that you've got there. So you slip stitch, you put your hook through there, grab the yarn, put it through there and through the loop on your hook. So it's more technical, but it's kind of building on what we've been doing.
And also, we are racing. I'm making you race through it at home when you're doing it for your pleasure.
Yeah.
You just sit down, read the pattern with a cup of tea, and then when if you've got the pattern there, like you just did, and you know, kind of just to double check. Oh, I need to do a half treble, because when you learn what a half treble and a treble and a slip is and everything like that, you'll visualise it. Like you're throwing all these words at me at the moment.
Yeah.
But which one was that? And which one was that?
Exactly.
But as soon as you've got the hang of it, you know. Oh, 2 trebles, 2 half trebles. You know full well. It's the counting of the stitches, really.
Exactly. It's the keeping track. So take your time, go through it slowly. You can get a pencil and tick it off as you go.
Is there anything, so you'd make all your holly leaves first
Yes,
of all.
yes.
Then is there anything else on there that is quite tricky that we should be aware of?
So I just wanted to point out, if I can find it. Do you mind if I nip on over?
Yeah, nip down, nip down, nip down. We've each got a couple of minutes.
So for the flower, when you come to do the hellebore, again, I've done it in yellow just to show you the colour, because white can be hard to see.
Yeah.
If I take this bit out, so when you come to do the flower petals, now again, you've got loads of pictures in the pattern to show you this, but you do a chain. So you've done your little circle, which is like when you're starting your Christmas pudding, but much smaller scale.
Yeah.
And then you're working around in it'll be white for your hellebore. Again, that's a difficult colour to see, so I've gone yellow.
Yeah.
And as you come round...
What size are you using on
So
this?
I'm demonstrating a 4, but I would use, I mean, again, it's the same thing, that be kind to yourself, try it out in a 4 first. But
if you want to make them bigger and chunkier, you could use a bigger chunky hook,
this is an
couldn't you?
Aran weight yarn I'm using here to make it easier for you to see, whereas this is double knit. So you can play, and you can have a big flower and a little flower and a tiny flower again. Okay, so when you work this one, the strange thing that you might not have done before is you work back down this chain. So you do, so I've undone it, so I've kind of gone back a bit, but you have a chain of 7 in the air, and then you work along the chain. So you do a double crochet in the second chain along, and then you do a half treble in the next. And what you're doing is you're working back along this chain.
So you're walking back towards
so that's,
yourself.
Yes, right back down to that circle, making a sequence of stitches.
So again, the petal is, you've made the centre bit of the petal, and you're going to work
exactly
down,
that.
and then you're going to work back up that
and
side.
then when you, so you go all the way down here. I'm just going to quickly refer to the pattern.
That's fine.
So let's make sure I get that right in case anyone's following it along. Okay, so you've done a double crochet, you've done a half treble, you now do 3 trebles, so 1 treble, 1 treble, 1 treble, then you do a half treble. So that's brought you back down to the bottom of that chain. So you've worked all the way back down that chain. Then you do a double crochet back in the round before, so it's green here. And then you slip stitch in the next stitch, and then on the following round you start working up and down again.
Yes, I understand it. So
yeah.
you're building the petals like that, aren't you? And then has it got a special finish around the edges? Has that got a shell as well, or is that just...
No, that's, as you build it up now, that will make that look like that. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Now, I have to say, these are selling fast, so please be careful. Thank you so much. I'm sorry your first show was so rushed, but it just shows, doesn't it,
No, it was
how
great
you need
fun.
longer shows to do in
no
Yarn
problem.
Lane.
It was
So
great.
you'll be back soon with the spring and the summer and the autumn and everything like that.
Yeah.
What I've got to tell you is that Yarn Lane is back on Sunday, when they are doing needle felting, crisps for Christmas. Oh, Christmas needle felting. Crafty Kit Company. That's all on Sunday. So that'll be with, now is it Debbie or is it Rebecca on Sunday? It's Rebecca Reed is on Sunday. Thank you very much for joining us for Yarn Lane. Thank you so much, Sam. It's been great fun. I've been totally and utterly fascinated by it. And I'm back tomorrow on Sewing Street for 5 hours tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So I'll see you then, and don't be late.